Photo booths! You see them at weddings, parties, festivals and all kinds of events. So why the heck am I talking about them? Because I'm building one, that's why. This machine has a 22-inch touchscreen display for user interactivity, a DSLR camera for high-res photos, and a dye sub printer which prints quality photos in under 10 seconds. It also has a bunch of other things that make it special, which you'll learn about in the build process. I found a cheap touchscreen monitor online and coupled it with an old laptop. The laptop had a broken screen, which didn't matter because we'd be using the external monitor anyway. I already owned a DSLR, which was a Canon 550D. I bought an additional flash to work with the camera as a built-in one didn't pack enough punch. Now for the printer. I found a second-hand one for about £200, which is a really good price for a dye sub. It's good to shop around as these can get expensive. I managed to find a supplier for the ink and paper that I needed, which cost me about £75 for a full setup, which is good for a few hundred photos. For the shell, I used MDF. This material has the same build characteristics as biscuits that have been left in tea for too long. Therefore, going back, I would have chosen something else to work with. I wanted the machine to have a modern, sleek look, so I decided to have the faceplate made from white perspex. To make this happen, I used 15mm MDF coupled with 3mm perspex to make an 18mm thick faceplate. The overall size needed to be 18mm so that it would fit the chrome look T-moulding that I wanted to wrap the edges in. I couldn't get hold of any 15mm MDF from my local woodyard, so I wound up sandwiching two boards together to get an overall thickness of 15mm. Now all I needed to do was plot and cut the camera hole and create a little shelf for the camera mount to sit on. First thing I did was measure up where the hole needed to be for the camera. I used a compass to draw the arcs as I wanted the hole to be kind of an oval shape to give the camera a little bit more room to move. I then drilled out the hole and used my jigsaw to cut the hole. I then cleaned up the edges and smoothed everything down. I was left with an oval hole that the camera could tilt up and down in. Now that the hole is cut, I need to sort of lay everything down on the front panel and get everything lined up. Lining things up gave me a position of where I needed to mount the camera. To do this, I'm going to make a shelf for the camera mount I bought online to sit on. I used some 2x2 timber and figured out how long the shelf needed to be and where the mount needed to be positioned. Once I had everything measured up, I used two sections of 2x2 together as a single one wasn't wide enough for what we were doing. I chiselled out a little slot to aid stability and fit the mount inside. I adapted the mount to connect to the stand via a long bolt. The mount had some adjustment points, so I needed to make room for those. Once everything was complete, I painted the whole thing black. For the T-moulding to nicely frame the machine, the corners need to be rounded. I used a compass and rule to measure the distance between the compass point and the pencil, which gave me a consistent radius on all corners. Once that was complete, it was time to fit the camera mount, get the monitor hole cut, and make the sides and start on the framework. We need to take the monitor and cram it into that tight fitting hole we just cut. Then we need to make a strip that can fasten to the monitor's mounting points and secure it to the frame. Now we have that sorted, we can give the inside its first coat of paint. The reason we're using black is so that light has a harder time bouncing around in there and causing any glare or other problems. Geez, I think that's enough for episode 1, don't you? Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the rest of this build and other episodes on things about stuff. We done? Yeah? Nice one.